The umdana is, when you said that you would like to be able to do it, but it wasn't the neder on you. Umdana. Umdana means
say, I will do it.
I will do that, and then that's binding on you, so you should try and follow it. But I don't know. When you said, I don't think. I'll take you to the beach, it means I hope to be able to.
Meaning like she felt bad because she couldn't come, so then
I don't think it's a neder, but I think it's better to get it. Better to say it better. Especially, I hope to be able to do it. The problem is you, not the fact that you never carried it through. The lotion wasn't good. This is the binding I was saying, umdana is, it wasn't the neder.
So I don't have to now?
I don't think so. Yeah.
If you do something 3 times, it's a chazak, I guess, keep saying it. So, do you have to have in mind while you're doing it, or if you just have in mind in general, if I do this 3 times in a row, it's not, like, let's say you go to the hotel every Monday. So
once you do it 3 times already, that becomes a chazaka.
Right. So let's say it's Wednesday. You did it twice, and you're going to go next Monday, right? Because you just have free time then, so you're going to go. But then something comes up, whatever you might not go. So you think, okay, so bli neder, I'll go, but you don't think it while you. When do you have to say bli neder? While you're doing it?
Yes, at one time or another, you should say. But this time is very makbid. That you should say it out with your pet. You know when you do on the Erev Rosh Hashanah, you say Hatos Nadoim. It says in there, Oyhan Hodol Toiva Shenohagti Shloisha Pomim. It's an expression. So I did something, a good thing for 3. I went to the Kosel 3 times. That could become a chazaka, a neder on you, a binding on you. So that means you always have to go. No, you don't always have to go. You should say b'li neder, and you'll take it away. The fact that at the time when you're doing it,
while you're doing it, like
yes.
On your way there, when you get there, you just say b'li neder, or just some point during the week say, okay, I know I've been going the past couple of Mondays, but
it's not a neder on me. This is only an Haga Tova, which is not a binding on me.
Like since I have time on Monday, I'll go, and if I don't have time one time, I won't go, or something like that.
But if you said by Kol Nidre that like any nidarim that I make in the future year or whatever, then
should not be binding.
Right.
You don't have to.
So
it doesn't matter in any case.
Worry about?
That's true. When it's you're right. Since you say that,
or should you still be extra careful?
No, but you won't do that. You're right.
Does that include the Hanhaga Tova that you do 3 times? If you said Kol Nidre that they shouldn't,
it will take it away. You mean? It won't be binding.
Yeah, does it include the Hanhaga Tova?
I suppose it does. But you never had it in mind.
No, it's for the coming year. You say it every year for the coming year also, no?
Yes, it goes on to the future as well. After, in Hataras Nadoim you say it, which I will in the future take upon myself to do, should always be b'lei neder. If I do not say b'lei neder, let it not be a neder on me. That's the expression Hataras Nadoim. Okay. So you're right. In any case, it's not binding on you because you're covered by that original b'li neder.
Like I was trying to say b'li neder, but like if I find it's like I'm not going to obsess over it because like good, at least
it's better always. There's a difference between a klal and a prat. A klal is something right. So you said it generally and you covered yourself, but in detail you should say it at each point as well.
But if you forget, it's like it's not the end of the world. You can still like it's not serious neder.
People, it's not regarded like that. That's why every single year we do say Hataras Nadoim because the Maisa we do take on and we never have that in mind. That klal. Without das. Yeah.
In Daphne's case, when she was talking about going to the course, if you've gone already 3 times and you didn't say that, means you have to continue going?
No, because the going in any case, what do you mean? Therefore, you must always go every day or something? Or when someone takes on 40 days of the coastal, that should definitely be said b'li neder. But definitely, I'm going now for the next 40 days. That's like, you should say b'li neder for that.
Well, just if you go,
if you've gone consecutive, therefore every so many days you must go 3 times. That's not it, no. So it happens that you went 3 times. It's when you went 3 days running consecutively.
Right, that's what I mean.
That's what she said.
When you went 3 days consecutively, on the 3rd day, what was your intention then?
Well, you went 3 days and you didn't have.
No, but one second. You're talking about the future. The future is not binding on you when you said for 3 days.
I'm just taking for example, but instead of Monday, saying if you go every day.
If you go every day, you should definitely say b'li neder because it's an action which was, and if you didn't, you should now say because it's your your intention was not to go every day. Your intention was not to, but once you started doing a Hanhaga Tova for 3 times, it becomes like it. So you should have said b'li neder. So what should you do now if you went and you didn't? It depends on your das at the time. I would say your das at the time when you did it was not to make a neder. Your das was just when it was possible.
try and go
an umdana. In other words, if you would go to a dayan would say to you, what was your das in the beginning? That means he looks for a pesach. A pesach means a way out that it wasn't a neighbor. And the pesach would be, what is your das at the time when you went 3 times? Was it to go all the time? No. So what did you go 3 times for? Because I managed to go 3 times. I wanted to go whenever I could. So he would turn around to you and say,
if it was getting the person down.
Yes, if it was a neighbor. But the umdana in such a case wasn't. In other words, in such a case, it's probably not. The best thing of all would be to say bli neder from the beginning. But looking back and saying, did you make a neder? Probably not. Probably not. The umdana was because you only intended to go when you could go. Unlike someone who goes to the coastal for 40 days. They know whether you're taking it on, and they should definitely say bli neder. Yeah.
What about if you rule this rule and you started to do something and now you're not sure whether you said bli neder or not about it?
So say bli neder now.
Okay, and what about if you already didn't do it for like one time? And what should you do?
It's back to the whole umdana thing.
It's back to the whole umdana. The umdana is that your intention probably was that not to take on a neder. But now, for the future, you should say, I'll do it bli neder. Looking back, the fact that you missed out once, probably the umdana was that it wasn't a neder. Except when a person says, I'm going to gather for a specific choyle and I must go every day, then I must go every day, and you went every day, that looks like a neder. Because you have to try and find the umdana. It's better always to prevent that.
What happens if it does look like a neder?
Then you do have to say, you have to go to 3 rabbanim or 3 men, and they say mutalach, mutalach, mutalach.
Even if you're not sure whether you said bli neder or not, like you might have?
In other words, again, if it was a neder and you didn't say bli neder and you missed that one time, is that what you're asking?
No.
It was.
If it was something which looked like a neder, like what you were just saying, but you're not sure whether you said bli neder or not, because it was so long ago that you started or whatever.
But you knew about the principle of saying bli neder.
Yes.
Then I would say you would leave it. Stop you said bli neder. Stop you said bli neder. Yes.
Anyway, going because it was on a mitzvah, so why?
No, it's a hanhoga taiva.
Well, I'm saying, like, if you go to visit somebody's kiver 3 days in a row, it shouldn't be binding it up.
Hanhoga taiva.
What?
If you do something, a good act 3 times, it doesn't mean a mitzvah. Hanhoga taiva.
Really? So somebody goes to visit somebody in the hospital 3 days in a row?
But the umdana there is clearly only to try and visit the person when they can. I don't agree that it's a neder. I don't agree.
Or if somebody lights Shabbos candles.
Now Shabbos candles is something, a Kabbalah, which you take on for yourself. Okay. That's Mamashan Hoga Toiva, which needs a bli neder.
So then if I happen to light 3 weeks in a row, I'm bound to.
If you did that,
if I had no intention of lighting every week, but I happen to.
No, that's not then, because you had no intention of lighting every week.
Oh, you're saying if you decide to light every week.
Okay, let's say at home you light every week, but then you come to seminary, you're not able to all the time. So do you have to make bli neder if you don't? I mean, do you have to make...
If you lit every day, you lit and it became by your practice every single week that you did, and now in seminary that you didn't. So was that a neder which you didn't? Perhaps it is. Yes.
But even while I was at home, every time I went away from home, I was just using with the Baal
So there we are. That's already the understanding that you didn't light all the time, which I think does happen. When you light at home every week, it does not mean like a housewife. It means like when I can, I'm at home, but not always. The understanding is of a single gun, I think, who lights. It's like Chavi was saying. It's understood that if I'm not around, that I won't. That's not a neder. It's not like a housewife. A housewife with her own home, that's binding.
Okay, so
I would say no. I'd say no, because no, you would not. It's not. It doesn't become for you a binding on you, but like a housewife.
We'll just have to ask the Shalos about these individual circumstances.
If you have a makbid, you do it every single week.
Oh, your family is makbid and you are makbid.
Yeah.
And you go away.
No, you go away, but obviously once you can and you have someone to have you in mind instead, is it the same thing as if you're doing it?
Yes, you have shliach. Shliach l'bar mitzvah. Okay, where are we? I think we're up to Reish Kov Ches. You agree? Reish Kov Ches. You have that one?
The same door necessarily things that or
to saying?
Eretz Hashem. Does it like mean anything? Because it's not really anything.
Yirtzeh Hashem.
I know when people like say Hashem and say Hashem, they just miss it clear.
I think they mean it. You don't think they mean it when they say Mitzvah Hashem?
Yes, they do.
One second. Maybe I didn't understand what you're saying.
No. I'm saying that Eretz Hashem, it's really in Yirtzeh Hashem, but we don't say it like that. We say Eretz Hashem. So is that how much that's saying it? Like,
Definitely.
It's not really a word.
Definitely. No, but it's the same.
Like Sally said.
Mitzvah Hashem. In Yirtzeh Hashem. Why? But you meant it. We know what you meant.
It's not a tefillah that like you
No, it's not a tefillah. You don't have to say the whole thing. No.
So what? It's not just become a word. It's the word that you use. What's the way?
I just yesterday, so funny, I was coming out of Mir, out of the Kollel, and I saw a friend, and I said, how are you? We'll be here tomorrow. God willing, he said to me. I said, God willing? What was that? In Mir? God willing, he said to me. Willing? He meant to me, it's Hashem.
True, if you say God willing, then it means
God willing, you mean it is Hashem.
Right, but like if you say Mitzvah Hashem and you don't enunciate it, so it's the same thing as God willing. You have to have that become a word because people say it.
Exactly. Alright?
So neither is Mitzvah Hashem.
It's a weird Hashem.
Anything in any language except for Lashon Kodesh is only a word by being used.
Then we work together for that. So together for that.
Anything that's not Lashon Kodesh is only a word by virtue of the fact that people understand it to mean what you've attached it to. So.
Can we carry on in Mitzvah Hashem? Yes.
About Mitzvah, is it like, does it consider like a lot of B'tachon, so that it like doesn't put away the Moshe money right away, and they like save it for like, because there are saying that like you don't have to give the Moshe money right away, like you could break down a notebook how much you owe, and then like do it later.
Definitely. And therefore the fact you don't take it straight away is not a weakness. And you don't have a look now?
Hashem says that he's going to pay you back, and...
No, I know. The taking of it, it's better to take it off straight away, because it could be that you won't. It's better to. But the fact that you don't is not a lack of bitachon.
You didn't know Hashem says that he'll pay you
No,
back?
maybe should we just have a look at this, because this is the last shir on my Sofim, I think. After this I want to go on to I want to go more on the Sefer. So maybe we'll jump. Now that you've mentioned it, let's go to the practical side of it. We'll turn to Reish Lamed Beis, and if with time we'll go back. Reish Lamed Beis. If I don't do this, I'll feel very bad. So let's have a look at this, and then you'll know practically what to do. Ve'ator, you with me? Ve'ator nachsa, Reish Lamed Beis. This is the practical side. Ve'ator nachsa levoy k'sas es oifen hanhoga shetzorich li yos b'mois ha'maisa. And I will explain a little of how one should conduct oneself in Maisa. Ve'yasne, and you should make a condition. B'tchilas kabbalosai, at the beginning when you accept upon yourself, because as I said, it's a Kabbalah Maisa money. It's a Kabbalah. The mitzvah is tzedakah. How are you practicing the tzedakah? By giving Maisa. But since this is a Kabbalah, sheyisnai ba'ofen zeh, uvazeh yistalku me'olov kol hapikpukim. And if you follow it in this way, you will avoid all the pitfalls, all the problems. Rishon lakol. Exactly what you were saying. Rishon lakol. Toiv. The best thing is to do. From the beginning, when you start to take Maisa, sheyasne, you should make a condition. B'tchilas kabbalosai, at the time when you take it on as a mitzvah, shehu b'li neder. First thing, say b'li neder. I'm taking off a 10th, b'li neder. Taking off a 5th, b'li neder. When you first time you take Maisa, when you take off Maisa, say b'li neder.
Why?
Because it's tzedakah is a mitzvah. How much you're doing and how you're doing your tzedakah by taking it off with Maisa. Aser to aser is a haftocha, is a promise. It's not like kabed esavicha v'esimecha, zoches yom hashavs lekadshai. It's a midah tova of how to make a mitzvah tzedakah. You with me? The mitzvah is the mitzvah tzedakah. How you do it is to a 10th. Are you mechuyev to take off a Maisa? No. Is it an Haga Tova? It's a very good Haga Tova.
You don't have to.
No, you have to give tzedakah. You have to give tzedakah.
I'm so confused that you have to give this.
No, you have to give tzedakah.
So then why does everyone...
Because of the pasuk, aser to aser. This is, if you take it, you'll become rich. You have to give tzedakah.
I mean, Maisa?
You don't have to give Maisa. Maisa is called a Kabbalah. And a Haga Tova, how much you take off.
Then why are we so specific about all the rules of Meiser and when to take off and you don't, if you don't have to really take off at all.
Wait 1 minute. You have a chiyuv to give tzedakah. How much tzedakah you give? The pasuk says aser to aser. That's a bracha. That's a loshon of chasidus. How much you should take off? How much you should take off? A tenth of a tenth. Then you get a tremendous bracha. Are you mechuyev like to keep Shabbos? No. The mitzvah is the mitzvah of tzedakah. But in the mitzvah of tzedakah is a chiyuv. It's not a chiyuv. Is a responsibility to take off. A person turns around and says, I'm not giving. I'm just giving you 1 shekel a year, and that's what I'm giving in tzedakah. That person, has he been mekayim the mitzvah of tzedakah? Yes. How has he done the mitzvah? In the worst possible way. So he gave tzedakah. How much should you take off? You should take off a tenth. You get a tremendous bracha if you take off the tenth. It's a haftocha from the Torah. Aser to aser. Take off and you'll become wealthy.
Where does it say that?
In Devarim Yud Daled, Pasuk Kov Beis. Reish Kov Zayin. You have a chiyuv to give tzedakah.
But not Meiser.
No, it's a Kabbalah. It's a Kabbalah to take off Meiser. How are you going to be mekayim the mitzvah? You mekayim the mitzvah by giving a shekel a year. That's terrible. When you're a millionaire, you give a shekel a year.
But that Meiser money is not really ours. Like, it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the ani, so I have to give it to them. It's not.
There's a chiyuv of Meiser. There's a chiyuv of Meiser with produce. Tavua. If a person, you have a chiyuv min atayv. You cannot eat the food without Meiser.
Okay.
Now, Meiser Ksofim is the same bracha of Tavua, but it's not the same mitzvah. The mitzvah is the chiyuv on Tavua. You must take off Truma. You must take off Meiser Rishon. You must take off Meiser Sheni. You can't eat it without. The chiyuv is on Tavua. Now, with everything that you have, is a chiyuv of giving tzedakah to aniyim. Is it a chiyuv d'oraisa? No. Is it a Kabbalah Tova? It's a wonderful Kabbalah Tova. It's an Hoga Tova Ma'od. Are you yotza by a shekel a year? No way. I did tzedakah. Yeah. I gave tzedakah, but you didn't give enough. For you, a millionaire, to give a shekel a year is not chiyuv. You didn't mekayim the chiyuv tzedakah. I gave tzedakah. You did. You gave tzedakah. Thank you very much. But you didn't do it the right way. Right? A Meiser is a aser to aser. The Torah tells you, take off Meiser. It's a haftocha. It's a promise, not as a chiyuv. So when you do take it off,
So as we're taking it off, we're going to...
let me put it like this, without being too blunt and upsetting any of you. So let's be honest. When a chassan and kala get married, they have quite a bit of money in their pocket, right? So they had a wonderful wedding. Everybody made beautiful shaver boxes for them. And they have in their pocket, let's say, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000 gifts or whatever. I don't know. They have money in their pocket. Why? Because people give you gifts. So the chassan turns round. Just now recently when I was in America, a couple got married who I was very close with. And the chassan turned round and he said to me, "Yeah, it's very important to give tzedakah. You know, I like to give Meiser money for my money." So when you hear something like that, Meiser money to give to Talmidei Chachamim in the Mir Yeshiva. He said, take it, and you have a way to give it out. Just got married, about 2 or 3 weeks after they got married. I think he gave me $70. It's a nice thing, $70. But the chassan and kala, and maybe he's not the only one he's not giving to. Maybe he's giving to other people as well. Halavai. But I was led to understand that we're giving from our Meiser money from the chasna. So, $70 is chassan and kala, how much money they have available. People have given them a lot of money in gifts. They take off, if that's all they're taking. If they're taking off more, that's wonderful. Then he only gave me $70. But he led me to understand that he was taking it off and he was giving it for chasna, and this is for Moman Aniyim in Talmidei Chachamim in the Mir. It was poor, because, again, on the assumption that he wasn't giving anywhere else, and he led me to assume that he wasn't giving anywhere else.
Was that true?
I don't know, but it upset me. Because, $70 for them, from the Mir Yeshiva, for Talmidei Chachamim, who just got married, usually have more money. So maybe he gave much more, and Halavai he would give much more. I hope he does. But it's not enough, really, at all. You should really take off Meiser money. Why should you? Because of all the gifts and brachas which are chassan and kala have received, you should really take off Meiser money. Why can't you give more in tzedakah? Everybody made a fuss of you can't help others with your money. Hope it doesn't hurt you, but it hurt me when it happens. It should be about chassan and kala should take off Meiser money. Is it wrong? No, they did the mitzvah of tzedakah. It gives $5, give $20. They get $20,000, $30,000 and you give $70 in tzedakah. They give tzedakah? Yeah, they gave tzedakah. It's weak. It's very weak. Yeah.
But isn't there a call of marketing meiser? Because you hear these stories, if the people don't give meiser, so they get less and less.
Yes, but
That's not a mitzvah.
that's like, no, the mitzvah is tzedakah. How you do the mitzvah is entirely up to you, how much you do it, how you do the mitzvah. The mitzvah is to daven every day. So Lamaisa, you could be potter by just saying, Hashem, help me, please. It's tefillah. Did you daven? Yeah, sure you daven. I said, Hashem, please help me today. Oh, but come on, you can do better than that in the mitzvah. The chiyuv tzedakah. How you daven? You're supposed to daven. So if a girl who's gone to seminary and she comes out of seminary and davening for her is just one line of davening, she davened, but it's a weak davening. She could do better than that. Same with tzedakah, I would think. A person comes to Shabbos, and Shabbos is they buy 2 little bolkalach and wine, and they light their candles, and they kept Shabbos. I mean, it's so chalash. You can do more in the mitzvah than that. You can make Einik Shabbos, Kedusha Shabbos. That's how you do the mitzvah. Did you do the mitzvah? Yeah, you did the mitzvah. Similarly with Maisa. So you give $1. Nice, you give $1, but you did tzedakah. There's more. Asa to asa is a haftocha in the Torah, and therefore the kolala probably comes about for a person not taking it seriously and not giving properly. Any mitzvah is like that, I would think. Any mitzvah, you could do the mitzvah just to part of the mitzvah off.
Is it a klala or is it just a consequence that's like... I mean,
that's
not every consequence is a klala.
That's the whole...
it's just a consequence, like, okay, so you know that if you give master, so you're guaranteed that you'll become more wealthy. So if you don't give master, so if you don't become wealthy, so it's not a klala, it's just not the way it works.
Okay,
you know?
but if a person builds richo, his children will die.
Okay, that's a klala. It's
Okay,
totally different.
It's a consequence.
No, it's not. There's nothing like ingrained in the nature of the world that people who build cities get their children killed. I mean, that's not the way it works. It's just
that's the klala of
no, but the klala is doing in this particular context. The klala comes about because the mitzvah was done so weak. That's the klala. The klala was done because the mitzvah was done in such a weak fashion. That's the klala here in this case.
So it's an actual klala that if you do the mitzvah in a weak fashion, then bad things are going to
happen.
Well,
look, the person was a millionaire and he gave $1 to tzedakah, and he said, "I gave tzedakah." That's a that's a lot tzedakah.
Things don't just happen.
It doesn't just happen, but it's
Let's go further. Base. Where we have to? Rishon lakol. Tov sheyasne b'tchilas kabbalas vas hamitzvah b'linet. K'dei shelo yikoshel chas v'sholom. Ba'avon nedorim. Al yidei eize sibo l'fa'omim. By certain reasons, whatever, you don't fall on it. So that you should say b'lineda. Gam yire sheyiyeh loy pinkas miyuchot. This is what I'm saying before. Chofetz Chaim says you should have a notebook. Sheyichtoi bo kol harevach sheyazmin lo Hashem acha nikui hahoitzores miha esek. This is a very questionable. What does it mean? Let's translate the words. You should have written the profit that you make after you have deducted all your expenses. Now,
the profit after what?
The profit that you made after your expenses. Now, for example, you have expenses: electricity, water, food. That's basics. Now, so where does Maisa come from? Maisa comes from after all your expenses. And there's an enormous issue in Paiskim. When do you stop with expenses? How far do expenses go? For example, I'll give you an idea. Traveling expenses are a business expense. Now, here's the question. Let's say a man makes $10,000 a year. How do you get to $10,000, his profit? His profit is because he flies to America 10 times a year, first class. So therefore he's only got, at the end of the year, $10,000. For 1 minute. He would have more money available if he wouldn't travel first class, and more money would be available for tzedakah. He's only got $10,000 at the end of the year. He makes, let's say, $100,000, but he's got $10,000 for Maisa. In other words, he's gone overboard with his expenses. So the question is, where's the cut-off line between honest expenses, and you can imagine all the problems which come in with this. A man needs to take a taxi. He could go by bus. Yeah, but come on, you can't always go by bus. It takes much longer and it's a nuisance. So the taxi is necessary. Do you have to always travel first class? No, you don't have to travel. So these issues come out all the time when you're making money. What's a necessary expense and what's not a necessary expense? Because if you take too many expenses, obviously what you're going to write down in the book is not going to be real Maisa money. You really had much more. Just you took for yourself far more in expenses. For example, I'll give you another example. When you go away from home, a businessman, and he's making money, and he has to stay in a hotel, he has food expenses. Now, eating in a 5-star hotel and having taxi driver and a first class travel takes away all the Maisa money. He's got no profit because all the expenses have gone on that. But he used up his profit for his own benefit. So is that right? Shouldn't Maisa money be considered from basic expenses, not over and above? On the other hand, there's a tshuva, which I saw in a sefer. On the other hand, he has to pay for money eating at home. So the tshuva came out and said he should make a cheshbon. How much it would cost for him to eat at home, and how much it would cost for him eating in a hotel. And the difference between the two, he takes off his normal expenses, and that extra profit is what he's paying for his own pleasure. So therefore, Maisa money should be increased, because he used more in his own expenses when he could have given more for Maisa. Yeah.
Sometimes I go to Israeli people's houses and I see that they really have like the bare, not bare necessities, but the basic necessities.
Right.
I mean, like they're not going to have some like lavish furniture and and all these things. Like they have a nice home, but it's so much more simple than Americans, right? But then I understand how there's some very like righteous people who like they have like ostentatious homes, and I don't understand how it's okay. But
it's a personal cheshbon, my dear. I cannot answer you.
Is it okay?
It's a personal standard of living. But you clearly understand. You have to. I think the only thing you can possibly do is don't judge others, but only judge for yourself. What is my standard of living? What do I honestly need for standard of living? A man needs a car. Yeah, he does need a car. So it's a regular expense of driving a car in America. In Israel, I don't think so much. So do you have to have a car? You see what I mean? It's a personal question. I can't answer you. So therefore, why are you living at that standard? You could give more money in Maisa money. Yeah, but you can't, because that's the standard of living. So where you make the cutoff line is a totally personal decision.
Okay, because also I one time heard a story. I'm not sure where I heard it, and I don't know if there's a source, but there was a boy who was in yeshiva, and he was very, very rich, and he dressed very simple like all the other kids. And the Rebbe or the Rashiva, when he found out, he said, if you're able to, like, Hashem gave you a certain standard in society, whatever, you should be dressing like more fine, not like shoes that are scuffed or whatever.
It's very hard to say that. It's very hard to say that. It's a personal decision, and the person himself has to come to that decision. You'll see when you get married and your husband, they want to live a certain way. You can't criticize people. It's a personal way of living, how you want to live. Now, Maisa will have a very relevant factor in that. Very relevant issue. You have to have a car, maybe you don't have to have a car. Do you have to have a beautiful home? Or you don't have to have a beautiful home. And the Maisa is all proportional. When you get married, you're going to have to sit down with your husband and say, what is our standard of living now? Because it's going to have a direct relationship on how much Maisa we have to give to tzedakah. You're right, I only have to give a shekel a year to be mitzi myself in chiyuv tzedakah. But I want to do the mitzvah properly in tzedakah. I'd like to give Maisa. The Torah says, Asa to Asa. So you'll say to your husband, yeah, but let's give Maisa. How much, a fifth? I don't know if you have to give a fifth. A lot of people give a tenth. The Torah says that. But it's a midas chasidus. You'll make that decision with your husband. Should we give a fifth or should we give a tenth? Should we give less than a tenth? How much should we take on? You'll say Bili Neder with your husband, and you'll sit down and you'll make a cheshbon. How are we going to live? Do we need 4 vacations a year? Do we need 1 vacation a year? Do I need in my wardrobe 10 dresses? Or do I need 1 dress? Do I need 5 shekels? Or do I need 1 shekel? Do I need, how many pairs of shoes do I need? Because it's all in relationship to the money that you have. And that's what the Chofetz Chaim is saying. And this is a very difficult look. After you've deducted living expenses, which will have a direct relationship on the Maisa. Yeah.
What if after you have your living expenses, there's no money left? Like, you weren't ostentatious,
so you don't have Maisa money, finished. You can't give tzedakah. One second, you have to do tzedakah, but you can't take Maisa. I'm sorry, I didn't say it right. You have to give tzedakah. An Oni has to give tzedakah, but you can't afford to give Maisa. Hundreds of B'nai Torah here in Yerushalayim cannot afford to give Maisa. They don't have that money available. Their expenses are so high. Marrying off children, yeshiva education, feeding a family. They don't have Maisa money. And they often have to take their own Maisa money for themselves. You don't have. If you have, then you should take. Giving tzedakah is a separate thing. Give tzedakah. How much? If you can, you give a Maisa. Yeah.
Well, when it says like someone's got a wedding and then you're cutting how much they need for living expenses and how much they have. So when you're cutting, if you're saying this cutting for the year, how much you need, if you need this many vacations or that, whatever. So is it ideal to look at it at the time, not to look at your expenses for the year, but okay, so I have a lot of money right now, and if I give a 10, I'm going to get bracha, so like from it, so Hashem will help me have more money, so I'm going to give a 10th of whatever it is that I have now.
Now, that's what he's coming up to say here. When do you actually give the Maisa? He's going to say in a minute, let me tell you before we learn it, that maybe you should make the account once or twice a year, or 3 times a year. Example, the account of the expenses with the profit should be made 2 or 3 times a year when you'll take off the Maisa money, bearing in mind the expenses. It's better as the money comes in. That's the whole chokhmah behind what the Chofetz Chaim said. When the money comes in, take off a Maisa. And put the Maisa into a keren for halvor, which you could take out yourself. Say B'li Neder, that I'm taking off this money B'li Neder, and I'm giving the money for Aniyim B'li Neder. It could be that I need it, but at least I've taken it off, and this is potential tzedakah money. Now the Chofetz Chaim said, out of that, let's say every 3 months you make $1,000. So out of that you're going to take off a certain amount and give it straight away to Aniyim. It's Mom and Aniyim. Maybe from $200, $300 you'll make a keren out of it for a gamach. And then you'll say, and if I need the money I could take it myself, it's B'li Neder. But this is potentially going to, the cut-off date is 3 months' time. In 3 months' time, I'm going to sit with my husband, we're going to take off the money and give it over to tzedakah. I don't think it should be left after a year. You can go half a year or whatever, however long. But you're going to have to give it out. Give it out when you can. What you're saying, Tikva, is, I suppose, that's wonderful. As soon as you get it, you take it off and it's gone. And in Mitzvah Hashem will give me more. Do you have to do it like that? No. It's too hard.
Some people that start off their, like I know people that started off their marriage in debt, because maybe they have loans and things that they need to pay, but they get $10,000 or something for a wedding, and really none of the money, like the debt you can pay over years. So technically you've already started with expenses before you even bought food.
Right.
But like then again, you've got $10,000, you can give them 10. It's like the day before you had no money.
I think it's an enormous design for a chassan and kala. It's a great design, starting off a marriage the right way, starting off a way when you chas the money that you have, doing it the right way, you mean taking it off, maybe not giving it all, maybe giving a certain amount straight away to Aniyim, putting a certain amount, saying B'li Neder, and putting a certain amount into a keren, making a gamach out of it, and if we need a B'li Neder, we could take from here. That's the way to start. The problem is when you get all chayvus and then you say, oh, Maisa as well, I can't do it. And that's what the Chofetz Chaim said. From the beginning you should take it off. Or make a cut-off date. Come what may, in 2 months' time, I'm giving out money for tzedakah, so I have to make that account. Maybe I have to borrow money to get my tzedakah money, but I'm making myself a target date. Better of all is what you said from the beginning. Take it off and give it and it's gone.
And they just pretend like you got a 10th less. Like a 10th wasn't mine.
Right. That's what he says. It's Mom and Aniyim. Okay. Base. Ya'aseh cheshbon, that's just what I said. B'chol chatzi shana. You should make an account. You sit down with your husband. You make an account every half a year. Oy al kol panim b'chol shana. At least every year. V'im yizdamin lo chas v'shalom hefsed. This is just what you said, Tikva. V'im yizdamin lo chas v'shalom hefsed b'soich zman zeh. And if you find that in the course of this time you made a loss, yanake me cheshbon harevach. You should take off from the account of the profit you have. Umoisa harevach, and any extra revach which is left even though you made a loss, yihiyah shayach mizeh ma'aseh tzedakah. Meaning, I put aside on January the 1st $1,000, and I meant in my mind when it comes to March, let's say April the 1st, 3 months, I'm going to give out tzedakah. And I expected to give the $1,000. But in reality, in the middle of February, I had a large account. I had to pay something for a doctor. We had a large bill which came in. Now, I didn't realize that. You take off from that Maisa money, instead of having $1,000, I now had to take from there, because you said B'li Neder when you took the $1,000 off. I now have to pay up for that expenses bill. So I have expenses. So I only have now $500, not $1,000 to give. That's the way to do it. Take it off, put it aside, and make a cut-off date when you're going to give it. Now, maybe you haven't got the money to give yet. It's a chasidus. It's a tremendous maila of a tzaddik who's got it, gives it straight away. Gives it straight away. As they say, it burns a hole. My father, always used to say, if you hold tzedakah in your pocket, it burns a hole in your pocket. He always used to say that. It burns a hole in your pocket. Take it out and give it. Get it out of your pocket. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Are you mechuyev to do that? No. You're mechuyev to give it tzedakah. It's a good midah to do a maisa, and eitzah tova is to give it straight away. Now, what's the chiyuvim? It's not like kosher and treif. It's not like mutter and osa. It's an hoga tova, how to perform the mitzvah of tzedakah. Give it straight away and it's gone.
It makes sense.
Yes, but it's not a chiv. You can't demand the person to say, you should have taken it off, you're wrong, you should have given it from the beginning. You're not. There's a way to do it so that you'll be able to perform the mitzvah and you won't get caught out with your yetzer hara and all different things. But lamaisa, a person maybe can't give all the tzedakah money straight away because you don't know what expenses are going to come out. You might in the end not be able to give this quarter. Can't you? Do it in quarters. Don't do it in years. He says a year, half a year, I don't know. Better do it in quarters or something less.
So when you separate the if I'm going to give the Meister right this day, right? Is that what
B'li Neder. I have $1,000, which is B'li Neder going to be. It's now in this envelope in my house. I'm going to wait 2 months, and then I'm going to give. Or give it straight away if you can. Best is to give it straight away.
Why would somebody wait?
Because I don't know, I might need the money myself. So I said B'li Neder, that this money is going for tzedakah.
If you set the money aside and you put it in a bank account and it accumulates interest, what do you do with the interest?
It's called an investment for tzedakah. Tzedakah, Mom and Aniyim gained money. It's not your money. Mom and Aniyim gained money. How long can you do it for? Until someone knocks on your door and says, and you realize the man has to be given money. So you take it out of the account and give it over. How long you can keep in an account for, because you're making such wonderful money on the Maisa money, instead giving it out, you have to ask a shaila. How long you should do that? In other words, should I give it over? Or should I keep it in the account? How much should I give out? He said that already. 2/3 and 1/3. Give out 2/3, keep 1/3 in the gemach. But ladies, just again, I think Daphne, you were thrown a bit. These are not chiyuvim. These are way the Chofetz Chaim is suggesting how to do it. The chiyuv is tzedakah. Yeah.
Are you allowed to give Maisa money for another mitzvah? Like for
Yes, for Sforim. But that's only b'di Evid. Yes, Hachnosas Kala. Take out your Maisa money, give it Hachnosas Kala. That's a poor Kala. Hachnosas Kala. Especially if she's a Bas Talmud Chochem. Bas Talmud Chochem, you're giving it for B'nai Torah for Aniyim. It's wonderful. Tikate off for that. Can you use it for Sforim? He says that later on. I think you're using it for Sforim, but it's a shaila on Sforim because it's really Mom and Aniyim. So using it for a mitzvah, best thing of all, I think Chofetz Chaim says you should make a tanai that if the money is necessary for Aniyim, I'm going to take out the money and give it over, and Sforim will be like my gift. You haven't really given over to Aniyim. Hachnosas Kala is wonderful because you're giving it over. Yeah.
A lot of auctions and stuff say that you can give your Meister money.
That's a shaila because you might win.
Right.
So the way you give it is like this. You say, like, I'm giving over. I remember I once asked before Shmuel Evans in the Mir how to do it. So he told me that the way to do it is you give it over and say, I'm giving my $5 for the auction. Come what may, $5 is going. Supposing I come out with $5,000 from the auction, from the lottery, whatever. So at the moment I've given $5. If I make $1,000, $5,000, I'm going to give Maisa from that. You'll say from the beginning. But that $5 is gone. And if I won on the $5, so I'm going to give $1,005. So in my mind, that money has gone. So could you give Maisa from it? Yes, you could give Maisa, even though you might gain in the end.
What if you didn't win money? What if you won an object?
An object, exactly. Then you become, then I suppose you have to value the object and give the value of the object. But you have to, in your mind, when you give the money for the lottery ticket, that the money is gone for tzedakah. And should you win, that money is going, plus the Maisa of what you have. The question is, can you give Maisa money for an auction? Yes, you could, but on that basis. It's going whatever. Yeah.
Is it a wrong thing if before you gave Meister money, you used some of the money that you earned without realizing that you didn't get Meister yet?
It's not wrong. It's not ideal. It's not wrong.
Do you have to give, let's say you have $5,000 you worked for, and you use some of it. Do you have to give Meister money from the original or from the one that's left over after you use some of it?
What do you use it for?
Let's say an expense. Let's
No,
say
then you don't have $5,000 because the expenses. You don't have $5,000 a year. You make $5,000 a month, and your expenses are rental.
Not like a usual expense. Let's say a parking ticket or whatever it was.
No, that's not a Meister money. That shouldn't be taken from that. That's parking ticket is your expense, not Meister money. Not Meister money.
It's the money that you earn, I'm saying.
But a parking ticket is definitely nothing to do with expenses.
So I'm saying you have to give the Meister money over the original amount.
Saying is the parking ticket expenses. If you're taking Meister from the money that's left over after expenses.
But the parking ticket is not expenses. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying, let's say you got a check after you worked for something.
Right.
And then that's your money. So I'm saying you had a parking ticket, so you paid for it off of that money without giving Meister yet. So the Meister money, is it the original?
Meister is owed. Meister money is owed. Fine.
I'm saying of the original or of...
But you have to pay for the parking ticket.
After you have paid for the parking ticket.
Right. Is the Meister money off the original amount or...
The original amount. You had no right to take off for the parking ticket. It's not called expenses.
So what's the other expenses?
Not expenses is not. Expenses is something which is your negligence. Parking ticket is your negligence.
Right.
That's not an expense. An expense is something like you need to have...
So you need to give Meister money off the original amount, meaning let's say $5,000, but
Yes.
it's decreased from that, so you still take up Meister as if it was $5,000.
Yes, correct. You have to be... That's the whole problem of what are expenses. You have to be... It's a personal decision. It's not chiyuvim, but it's my example is a wonderful example, I think. A businessman makes $10,000 a year because he's traveling first class travel on El Al, and he's living in 5-star hotels. So he's only got $10,000. But come on, that's not true, really. Who are you fooling? You really could have more money for stock, but you're pitching yourself so high. There's nothing left at the end. So I would say parking expenses are the same. It's not really expenses. Not really. Yeah.
After you take off all your expenses, the real ones, so whatever food and taxes and the electric bill and stuff like that.
Taxes, ES or IS?
Taxes.
Taxes or taxes?
Yes.
ES or hoo-hoo. Now that's a whole shaila. How much of taxes, which the government takes?
Yeah.
Now that's how much of it is deductible expenses and profit expense or not?
Right.
And not all taxes are. A business expense certainly is. A capital tax in England is called income tax.
Yeah.
Like off your income. So
Yeah.
that's as a government expense. You have to pay that money out. But not all taxes might be. You know what I mean? You can have taxes of.
Like what?
You have to ask a shaila. How much of the taxes which the government takes off is an expense which you can throw off to Meister or you can't throw off to Meister? You have to ask a shaila. Not all taxes are. Taxes with an IS.
Well, it depends also if they're not take buses.
But do you have to always take a bus? No.
I'm not allowed to take any buses.
Of course you can.
I'm not allowed. My parents don't let me.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize. Your parents, I think that's what you meant. I was coming from a different point. You're not allowed to, so it's a proper expense.
So
you have a choice. You have to take a taxi with an I.
okay, so after you take up all your expenses.
Right.
Okay. Then what's left of that, you get a tenth of that. It's still Meister.
Yes.
It's still the original.
The original count. Let's talk about an amount. You have $1,000.
Yeah.
How much are your expenses?
Wait, but really you should give up $100.
Really,
right?
it should be $100. No, right. But your expenses happen to be how much?
$50, let's say.
$1,000 left from $1,000.
What?
You give.
Oh, your expense? No, from the 100.
We're not talking the same point. You're given $1,000 a month, right?
Okay.
Now, how much are your expenses?
Oh.
500.
500. So you have $500 for Meister. Now, not $1,000 is not Meister. $500 is for Meister. Because you only have 500 after your expenses. You don't take a cheshbon of Meister, so you've taken off your expenses.
So
your parents.
First of all, take off your expenses.
So then it's $50.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So how much Meister do you have to give? 5. You don't take off the Maisa before expenses. You take off Maisa after expenses.
Why?
Because
But
it's not profit.
Maisa, right?
It's not profit. No. Profit is only profit. Profit after expenses, not profit before expenses. Not profit before expenses. Profit after expenses, not profit otherwise. I make $1,000 and my expenses for my home, my children, my clothing, my electricity come to $500. So how much is available for Maisa? $500. From that is $50 Maisa.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you take off from my store from the very beginning before you do expenses,
Right.
and you give it away,
And you say Beli Neder.
what do you mean?
I know what you're going to ask. I know what you're going to ask. Go on.
So then, if at the end of the month you're still covered, can you just, like, that money, it's fine to give it all away?
Yes, because you said it Beli Neder. No, I'm going the other way around. Your question is good, but I think my question is even better. Can you get it back from Maisa? Can you get it back from Maisa?
Right, okay.
Right? In other words, you took off, and now Maisa owes you money.
Right.
Can you take it back from Maisa? That's, I think, the next point he goes on. You could do it even from year to year, but it's not ideal. Chofetz Chaim says that's already not the best thing to do. He doesn't like that. In other words, go from one. In other words, at the end of the year, I found that Maisa owes me money, not that I owe Maisa money. Because this year I had a loss altogether. Now, can I get it back from?
We said we could take off.
But say at the beginning. Only say at the beginning, because once the money has been labeled, that's always the problem. Make a note in your notes. Maisa money gets a label to it. Once the label is given, it's not yours. If you don't give it a label and you say Beli Neder, then you can take it back again. Once you've taken the money, you said this is Maisa money, that money has a label on it. It's Moman Aniyim. You can't go back and then take it back later. What you can say is this money is potentially Maisa money, Beli Neder. I'm writing it down in my book. It could be, it's much less. It could be none. It could be I'm giving it to a Gemach. Why? Because you didn't put a label on the money. The problem is when the money gets a label, then you're finished. It's not your money anymore. You said you're giving it to someone. It's like a Neder. It's Maisa money.
If a woman decides that she wants to do a fifth and her husband doesn't want to, she's not allowed to, right?
Definitely not.
And also, if a man decides he wants another expense that the woman doesn't want, she has to also give it, right?
Yeah, but you're bringing out contention. The best thing to do is to go to a rabbi. Don't leave it. Don't fight.
Not to fight, but to give it on one.
No, she's right. She's right, because it can happen terribly. The husband says, I'm going, and the wife says, what are you doing that for? So what do you do? Shalom Bayis is here. Shalom Bayis is more important than Maisa.
No, as opposed to fighting, I'm asking, should you just give in, or should you go to a rabbi?
Give in. Shalom Bayis is much more important. Tzedakah is a mitzvah, and how much you give is a Kabbalah, is a midas chasidus. Shalom Bayis is very, very important. Don't break up a marriage over money. Wow, that should have been the first point in the whole of this, all these shiurim. First point at the very, very beginning is, if I can put it bluntly, you don't break up a love affair because of money.
Right.
You don't break up a marriage. You don't fight over money. Never fight over Maisa money. Give in, whatever it is. Don't make it. If you want to take it further, go to a rabbi and ask her, what should we do? And ask your husband. But to make a whole argument about money, you never fight over money. Never ever with your husband do you ever fight over money.
Okay.
He says to you, you shouldn't spend that much money. Say, I won't spend that. Don't. Money is only money. Money is not Shechina. Money is not Kedusha. Never make a fight over money. Money. Goodness me, that should be the first point at the very beginning. Always Shalom Bayis is much more important. Even Hashem's name is rubbed out for Shalom Bayis. So Maisa money, which is only Midas Chasidus, don't scream over money. Don't have any fight. Saita? By a Saita. So for Maisa money, tzedakah, you have a chiyuv tzedakah. You're not happy with the way your husband is handling the money. You know what you should do? You should write him a letter. Write him a letter. Don't shout at him. Say, listen, I really wanted a home of giving tzedakah. I think it would be a wonderful thing if in our home we gave tzedakah money. Would you agree to come with me and talk to a Rav? Make him a good, delicious gourmet meal and try and tease him out into giving the money, but you don't fight over it. You know how women work. You do all sorts of things to make him see your point of view. But don't scream at him. Yeah.
And also, I thought this was very wrong, but I figured if somebody was doubting about it, that it's possible she was right. She was worried to change money from a tzedakah box, meaning to take a 10 shekel and take 10 single shekels from a tzedakah box.
I'll tell you what we do in our house when that happens. That happens often in our house. We give like another shekel into tzedakah because you don't have to, because you're using money. You're using tzedakah money. Yes, all right. But since you're using tzedakah money, it's a nice feeling. Since you're not hired to do it. It's just a nice feeling that if you're taking money out of tzedakah, since I changed with tzedakah money, so let them gain a little bit. It's like Tovas Hanor, thanking tzedakah. So you give a penny in.
But there was no problem to do that.
No problem whatsoever. But it's just a hagosha. Hagosha, because it's tzedakah money. So give it a little bit more because of changing. Okay. Wow, we're doing lots of things. It's time already. What time did we finish? 10 to 12. Yeah? We didn't finish these points. What a beauty. These are all so much nice. Do you want to do a bit more next week, or do you want to go into another topic?
Let's do it now.